Suplexes and stuff where legends collide. In the wrestling ring, we take you for a ride. Join us for the chaos, the suplexes, the stuff, because it's time for a podcast that's a diamond in the rough. Suplexes and Stuff is a podcasting pinnacle where the reviews are for fun and usually not cynical. Friends and foes, suplexies and suplexers, welcome to a brand new episode of Suplexes and Stuff. I got a monumental 4-week episode for you here, and as you know, Suplexes and Stuff, the intake, is essentially my audio diary on my wrestling intake. I try to keep it short, 1 to 2 weeks, a occasional 3-week thing, but never a 4-week thing. But I won't keep too much of your time up on this. I'll keep it short and sweet. But the situation is, I fell behind, honestly, and there's no way I couldn't talk about AEW Revolution back when that happened. That's included in the first week of stuff that we're going to talk about. I couldn't not talk about Sting's retirement match. I couldn't not talk about that great pay-per-view, and lots more between that and now. And we're coming off of a awesome week of wrestling. We're at Saturday morning here, and I wouldn't want to cover the whole week without having had watched Collision, so I'll be back early this week with another episode covering that week. Short episode because we got a lot to catch up on, we got a lot to jump into. We got WrestleMania week here coming up with a lot of great stuff. I'm going to stick to the usual suspects. I like to cover Pro Wrestling Revolver. I like to cover GCW. So I'll probably cover Bloodsport. I'll probably cover Tournament of Survival. I cover Ring of Honor, so I'll do Battle Card, Super Card of Honor. Stand to Deliver, WrestleMania, obviously. But yeah, we got stuff coming up later in the month, April 20th. AEW, I think it's TNA Rebellion, and then AEW Dynasty, or as Tony Storm says, Dynasty, which I think would be a perfect platform for a one Maxwell Jacob Friedman to at least show something's going to happen there, MJF related. I don't know if he's going to be there. I don't know if he's cleared. I know he's injured. I think they're going to start just like Big Business. I think that's very MJ. I haven't seen a lot of people mention that, but I think it has to be very MJF centric, that episode, that pay-per-view. Mind you, it is going to be on the 20th, just around the same time as TNA's pay-per-view, around the 20th of April. But before I jump into my notes for here, my wrestling intake, my 4 weeks of wrestling intake, I wanted to let you guys know about two. There's not many super small or indie shows that I follow very closely, but especially, I follow these two because they are or will be running shows directly in my area. That would be 5-Star Wrestling and Smashmaster Wrestling. I did want to let you guys know, if you're in the area traveling and going to WrestleMania on WrestleMania week, we're coming up there next week, about a week or so. I did want to let you know that these guys, hard-working, small-time independent promotions, are going to be running events there. First, I just wanted to let you guys know about 5-Star Wrestling, April 4th at 8 p.m. They're going to be at the Monster Factory in New Jersey, and they're going to be doing seminars there. Hayden Backlund, a lot of the known guys that we've known to love or grown to know, all that kind of stuff. locally here at the Pajama Factory. They're going to be up there. They're going to be crowning, I think it's the tag team championships up there, or they're going to be crowning some type of championship up there, and there's going to be championships on the line. There's going to be a lot of fun up there. Some of the hottest indie talent are going to be wrestling on the card that evening, and then, which I'll talk about in a little bit, they're going to be coming back to Williamsport, Pennsylvania this month after the week of WrestleMania fun. So go check those guys out in New Jersey at the Monster Factory, April 4th at 8 p.m. But if you're in the Philadelphia area around that time, at the Yuki Club on 847 Franklin Street, there's going to be a doubleheader from our friends Smashmaster Wrestling, and also the returning the returning GSW. I'm very, very excited for this one. This is stuff going to be live streamed and kept on YouTube. If you aren't in the area, if you're not enjoying the WrestleMania week festivities in person, you can check this stuff out. The cards are up. This is really cool stuff. Smashmaster Wrestling is going to be doing the show From the Woods to the Hood, and then GSW is going to be returning, and they're going to be having a show called Ring the Bell. So a lot of interesting matches on there. Off the top of my head, I think I seen GSW Ring the Bell was going to be Furious versus Deppen. Oh man. But go check those shows out. Go follow Smashmaster Wrestling, and they have all that information available for you to go to that show. And I do believe that the shows are like $10 a piece. Like, so if you're in that area, these are the shows to go to. I'm telling you, as somebody who's seen a lot of these people in person, whether you're in New Jersey or you're in New Philadelphia, that area, or that Philadelphia areas at that time, you're going to have a great time at 5 Star or Smashmaster. But a lot of my heart is with the guys at Smashmaster, because I've seen a lot of those. But I've seen most of the guys at 5 Star too. But Furious, Deppen, those are the guys I cut my teeth watching in person. These were the first ever wrestling shows. But yeah, I've rattled on enough about that. But before I close off on the introduction here, I did want to let you know, touch back up on that thing about 5 Star Wrestling that I said, that they are coming back to the area here on April 13th at the Pajama Factory for Ignition 4, and then April 28th, Bash at the Barn. Smashmaster Wrestling is going to be making their Lycoming County debut with a show in Muncie, Pennsylvania. So check that one out too. So they got that stuff on WrestleMania week. You come back, then they're going to be 5 Star at Pajama Factory on the 13th, and then in Muncie, Smashmaster is going to make their debut in Lycoming County in Muncie, Pennsylvania, at the Today Farm. Very interesting venue. Very excited to see what they can do there. I just recently watched a match between Effie and JS Hawthorne that you absolutely need to check out. It's uploaded raw on their Facebook page, full, no edits, no cuts, no coconuts. It's all there for you to watch from top to finish. So if you but when you check that out, go on there, check that out. Facebook, you gotta watch that at some point this year. Going to be high, like I said on Facebook earlier, going into a week away from WrestleMania. This is going to be bold of me to say, and considering that it's only the end of March, beginning of April here, it's definitely bold to say, but this is going to be hard to beat for me for Independent Match of the Year. But yeah, I digress. Check those guys out. Smashmaster Wrestling, 5 Star Wrestling. Check those guys out on social media, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all that good stuff. check out where they're going to be. They got a lot of stuff coming up in April, and then 5 Star's going to come back in May. They've already announced, bang, Lince Dorado Lucha Lit for May the 4th, Rise of the Skywalkers. That's going to be an amazing day. Not only is it Star Wars Day, not only is it Rise of the Skywalkers Day, but it's also Free Comic Book Day. So go out there, support your local comic book stores, support 5 Star Wrestling on May 4th, and yeah, just have fun with it. Alright then, let's jump into it, shall we? We'll start with the last week of February, moving into March, the beginning of March, and AEW Revolution. So let's go ahead and do the thing. Raw, February 26, 2024, Raquel Rodriguez defeats Chelsea Green. Sami Zayn defeats Shinsuke Nakamura. Imperium defeats New Day. The Street Profits, the New Day in a street fight. Also, the next episode is going to have just to spice things up, I'm going to give my match of the show for each show that I cover. Match of the show next time, and my promo of the show. Match and promo of the show, each show I cover. I'll put that on there. So Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark defeat Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell. Nia Jax and Liv Morgan comes to a no contest. Cody Rhodes defeats Grayson Waller. And NXT from February 27th, 2024, Kiana James defeats Kalani Jordan. The Good Brothers defeat Idris Enofe and Malik Blade, which are two different people. Idris Enofe, Malik Blade is two different people, I meant to say. See, I messed it up too. Shot at NXT commentator Booker T. Yes, man. Oh, yes, man. Roxanne Perez defeats Jara Jackson. Dijak defeats Luca Crucifino. Von Wagner defeats Lexus King. And Jada Parker defeats Gigi Dolan. Charlie Dempsey defeats Noam Dar for the Heritage Cup Championship. We move on to Dynamite from February 28th, 2024. Bryan Danielson, Jon Moxley, and Claudio Castagnoli defeat FTR and Eddie Kingston. Orange Cassidy defeats Nick Wayne to retain, he's the champion? I don't believe he is. Sky Blue defeats Chris Statlander. Chris Jericho defeats Atlantis Jr. And we move on to TNA from February 29th. Steve Macklin defeats Speedball Mike Bailey. Epic Collision. Jake Something defeats Laredo Kid. I like that Laredo Kid guy. Now he's with Impact. They just did a real nice video package of him this week, which I'll get into on the next episode early this week. Rich Swann and Joe Hendry defeats AJ Francis and Diener. Tasha Steelz and Xia Brookside come to a no contest. The System defeats Eric Young and ABC. And we move on to Ring of Honor from the 1st of March. Queen Aminata defeats Taya Valkyrie. Lee Johnson defeats Mike Seidel. Yes, Mike Seidel, the brother of Matt Seidel. Commander defeats Blake Christian. Taiji Ishimori defeats Jacoby Watts. Johnny TV defeats Dalton Castle for control of the boys. Bad, sad episode. Well, not bad, sad. Bad, sad ending to the episode. We move on to SmackDown from the 1st of March. Tiffany Stratton defeats Naomi. The Kabuki Warriors defeat Bayley and Dakota Kai. Braun Breaker defeats Zion Quinn. Hall Epic. And Santo Escobar defeats Carlito. Randy Orton defeats Grayson Waller to close out the show. We move on to Rampage from the same day, on the 1st. Claudio Castagnoli defeats Rashido. Lance Archer and the Righteous defeat Anya, Luke Langley, and Not Riho. Hopefully I got those names right. I mean. And then Riho defeated Trishadora, and Magnus defeated Matt Sydal. Yes, the brother of Mike Sydal. We move on to Collision from the 2nd of March. Dante Martin wins an 8-man scramble match. I do believe that's going to culminate at Dynasty, a title shot of some sort, or he had some type of. I don't know at this point. I do apologize. I am behind. Apologies are all around. Mariah May defeated Angelica Risk, and the Bang Bang Scissor Gang, who are no more, defeated the Dark Order. Private Party defeated Matt Sydal and Christopher Daniels. Thunder Rosa defeated Cassandra Garden. Christian Cage, Brian Cage, Killswitch, and Roderick Strong defeated Orange Cassidy, Daniel Garcia, and Trent Beretta to close out the show. Now let's talk about AEW Revolution. If you check my YouTube page in the community, I do believe is where you'll find posts of mine. I did put my predictions out here for AEW Revolution, and I'm going to be telling you whether I got them right or wrong, and I'm going to be grading the matches on a 1 through 10 basis, as well as the pay-per-view will get a 1 through 10 as well. Let's jump right into it. The first match from AEW Revolution was Christian Cage defeat Daniel Garcia. Yep. Christian Cage defeated Daniel Garcia. We got a very old school Christian moveset in this match. A top tier Christian. Garcia hit him with a gnarly pile driver for a 2 count, but Christian hit an unprettier to pick up the win. I got this one wrong. I did have Daniel Garcia coming out on top, but I did give this match an 8. The next match up, we had Eddie Kingston defeated Bryan Danielson. This match was a chopapalooza in the early goings. Bryan sported a bright red chest after all that. Kingston escapes a crossface, and Bryan hits a Busaiko knee for a 2 count. Eddie hits a big half and half suplex for a comeback, and the two have a masterful strike exchange. Eddie cuts off a Busaiko knee with a huge lariat, then a big power bomb to score the win. I always like to see a match end on a simple move like that. It just gives that, like everybody's exhausted or whatever, and that last simple move, like heralding back to those old days of the 80s and 70s, therefore on, where less was more. You just hit that last big power bomb. I did get this right, and I gave it a 9. And we move on to Wardlow wins the Scramble Qualifier match. This was a big-time, big-man match. Wardlow, Lance Archer, Powerhouse Hobbs, Dante Martin, Magnus, Chris Jericho, Hook. Jericho gets dropped on his head by Hook, which, by now, which sparked a whole thing of, I need to be your partner, I need to see you in the ring, now I want to mentor you type of deal. Cage hits a DVD on Hobbs. Wardlow hits a step over Hurricane Rana. Martin and Magnus share a strike exchange. That was pretty cool. Then Hook hits a top rope sledge. Hobbs hits a huge power slam on Archer, but ultimately Wardlow does pick up the win there. I got this one wrong, but I did rate this one an 8. We move on. Roderick Strong defeats Orange Cassidy. Of course, he was the champion then, but wasn't now. Roddy had an awesome entrance here for this match. Roddy hit a backbreaker on Cassidy, holding on to Cassidy's pockets. Almost ripped his pockets out of his pants, and I think he did at one point in this time in the match, or was that some point at some other time where they ripped his pockets out. But Roddy hits a head bash off the top rope, and then a gut wrench power bomb onto the top turnbuckle. Roddy executes a lion tamer on Cassidy. Cassidy hits a Panama Sunrise for a 2 count. That's Adam Cole Bebe's move. And then Orange Cassidy hits an orange punch, but collapses, going for the beach break. Roddy hits a strong punch and the end of Heartache to pick up the win. Man, I got this one right, and I gave this one a 9 as well. Then we seen the Blackpool Combat Club defeat FTR. The Blackpool Combat Club had excellent Road Warrior entrance gear tribute going on for this Anything Goes match. The match starts off with fair tit-for-tat technical wrestling, but then quickly goes to the outside. There was a very nice exchange between Moxley and Dax that led into a cool Claudio and Dax exchange that busted Dax open. Claudio hits Dax with a backslide jackknife powerbomb. Then Claudio hits a brutal tope suicida. Then the Blackpool Combat Club hit a Doomsday device when FTR then hit a huge leg drop Doomsday device and a shatter machine. Claudio hits a neutralizer on Cash on the outside. Mox executes a Death Rider on Dax after that for a 2 count, and then Dax submits to a Bulldog choke in the ring. I got this one wrong, but I still rated this one a 9, and we move on to Toni Storm defeated Deonna Purrazzo. This match had an awesome action from the very start to the beginning to the end. It was very submission based. Toni escapes a Venus de Milo attempt, but she taps, but the ref misses it. She hits a pile driver and picks up the win. I got this one right. I rated this one an 8. We move on to Will Ospreay defeated Konosuke Takeshita. This was extremely fast-paced match. Konosuke hits a tope con hilo a la Kenny Omega, then hits a picture-perfect German suplex. Ospreay hits a beautiful rolling forearm. Takeshita and an os cutter for a 2 count. Takeshita counters a hidden blade, gets a 2 count, hits a backbreaker on the turnbuckle that just bruised the hell out of Will Ospreay. Takeshita hits a beautiful suplex sequence, maybe the best suplexer out there for my taste. And 1 counts a hidden blade, but Ospreay picks up the win with a Tiger Driver 91 and a hidden blade. I got this one right. I rated this one a 9. Move on to Samoa Joe defeats Hangman Adam Page and Swerve Strickland. Joe hits a tope suicida to cut off Page right from the beginning, hitting a 1 count. Swerve hitting Swerve with power bombs and a muscle buster for 1. But Joe hits him with a monster headbutt. Joe hits a muscle buster onto Page. Swerve hits him with a swerve call and a house call. Hangman Adam Page kicks out after 2, and then he does another house call. Hangman Adam Page takes out the referee and obliterates Swerve with the belt. He then hits a buckshot lariat on Joe, but there was no referee to count. Then the referee gets in there, hits a 2 count. Joe does a dodging nothing to evade a buckshot. Another buckshot attempt, put him in the sleeper hold with Swerve. Hit a Swerve stomp on them. Page takes out another referee, but after the order is restored, Joe taps out Hangman Adam Page to retain his title. So there was a lot of them going after Joe, but most of it was just Hangman and Swerve going after each other. Most of them trying to break each other up, which is a normal triple threat match, but I'm really thinking we're going to see a climax. There's got to be one more match between Hangman Adam Page and Swerve Strickland before one of them. But I do believe Swerve is going to be challenging for the title. So that's pretty cool too, either way. I did get this one right, and I rated this a 9.5. And we move on to the main event of AEW Revolution, which was Sting and Darby Allin defeating the Young Bucks. We had Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, and Ric Flair out at ringside for the match. The Bucks had epic entrance gear, but Sting had an even more epic entrance with his sons present and representing different eras of him. They get involved in the match. They hit some splashes on the Bucks. The Sting gets a double super kick and eats it. Sting gets Glass involved in the fight, moves into the crowd. Nick sends Darby off the stage with through tables with a Falcon Arrow, and Matt does the same with Sting with a suplex through tables. Then the Young Bucks chants ring out. After the Young Bucks chants ring out, Darby then jumps off a ladder close to 2 stories through glass laid out on chairs as the Bucks just narrowly avoid it. He's cut to ribbons. He's bleeding, and then he'd be out for a majority of this match. Crazy stuff. A lot of people talking about this. This guy's nuts. The only downfall I'd say about this match is that I wish that more of the TNA side was represented of Sting, and I know that they did do the Joker callback in this, but Jeff Jarrett is on the roster. I just don't understand why he couldn't have gotten involved. I know you don't want to over-egg the pudding, which was already over-egged in the first place, but I thought maybe we'd see Jeff Jarrett or something. Maybe he'd come out and hit somebody with a guitar. I know, just to muck it up a little bit more. But Matt hits a Scorpion Death Drop on Sting. Sting withstands several stereo super kicks, 2 for a 2 count, and a double EVP trigger, but ultimately Sting stores the victory by tapping Matthew and Nicholas Jackson out with a Scorpion Deathlock. I got this right, and guess what? I rated this match a 10. All in all, AEW Revolution gets a 9 from me. And we move on to my pick 6 of the first week of 4. My man of the week, it's Sting! Woman of the week is Queen Aminata. Team of the week, Sting and Darby Allin. Singles match of the week was Roderick Strong versus Orange Cassidy. Multi-man tag team match of the week was Joe versus Paige versus Strickland. And my show of the week was AEW Revolution. Of course it was. And then we will move on. Let's go ahead now and jump into week 2, which does have 2 events. One is a premium televised event in NXT Roadblock, and a premium live event in TNA Under Siege. Let's get into it, shall we? We first start off with Raw from March 4th, 2024. Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods defeat the Imperium. Bobby Lashley defeats Bronson Reed. Liv Morgan defeats Zoe Stark. JD McDonough defeats R-Truth. LA Knight defeats Ivar. And we move on to the premium televised event, NXT Roadblock, March 5th, 2024. With this being a premium televised event, I won't rate it as a pay-per-view, but it's almost on that level. So I'll go over some of the matches and more in depth. We've seen the opening match of Dijak defeats Joe Gacy. This gets an up. Gacy was very Looney Tunes in this match. Upside down entrance. He's been doing this for a while now, but it's really starting to catch on now. Dijak hits a moonsault off the top of the cage. Gacy puts Dijak through a table and hits a top rope senton. Dijak duct tapes Gacy's head and then cracks him with a kendo stick. He's bloodied up in the mouth and that. Dijak wins with a feast your eyes. This was a good match. Wolf Dogs defeat Chase University. This was an up. Sean Spears defeats Uriah Connors. This was a down only because it was extremely short. The Kabuki Warriors defeat Lyra Valkyria and Tatum Paxley. This was an up. Fallon Henley defeats Blair Davenport. This was a down just because of how short it was. Tony D'Angelo defeats Carmelo Hayes. This was an up. We go up to Dynamite from March 6, 2024. Swerve Strickland and Samoa Joe defeat Mike Bennett and Matt Taven. Hook defeats Brian Cage. Cage uses a Taz invented move, double arm trapped overhead belly to belly. Hook sends Cage through the barricade. Cage counters and hits him with a Cazadora neck breaker and a power bomb. An F5, but Hook wins with a thumbtack assisted red rum. Trent and Orange are in the tag team tournament. Killswitch defeats Daddy Magic. Edge, Adam Copeland returns. Attacks Nick Wayne. The Elite, the Bucks fire Page and Omega. They bring in Okada. Amazing. Chris Statlander defeats Riho. Will Ospreay defeats Kyle Fletcher. Amazing. Then we move on to TNA from March 7th, 2024. Mustafa Ali defeats Kevin Knight. Ash by Elegance defeats Angel Blue. Time Splitters defeat the Good Hands. Danny Luna defeats Masha Slamovich. PCO defeats Alan Angels. Josh Alexander defeats Dirty Dango. We move on to Ring of Honor from March 7th. Red Velvet defeats Layla Hirsch. Abaddon defeats Judy Azul. Lee Johnson defeats John Cruz. Nyla Rose defeats Ariel Dima. The Infantry defeat the Workhorsemen. Spanish Announce Project, Gringo Loco, and Jack Cartwheel. We move on to SmackDown from March 8th, 2024. Kevin Owens and Randy Orton defeat Austin Theory and Grayson Waller. Bobby Lashley defeats Karrion Kross. Tiffany Stratton defeats Mia Yim. Dragon Lee defeats Angel Garza. Seth, Cody, and the Bloodline. This was a great segment between them guys. Just a lot of stuff moving up, but the most things I want to talk about, the Rock doing the L's. You know, there's a lot of very small Easter egg hidden stuff that, 5 years ago we wouldn't be thinking that the WWE would be doing this. It'd be stuff that we'd be seeing like on the internet or on the forums or on the chats or on the message board somewhere, and we'd be saying, nah, it couldn't be WWE. They wouldn't be thinking this far ahead. They wouldn't be thinking this minute of detail in advance. But yeah, they are, and that just all these Rock promos and The Rock, I feel like The Rock is doing his best work yet. Not only is this heralding back to the days of the Attitude Era and the Ruthless Aggression era, but it's just even better. It's this is awesome. I've been in love with this Bloodline story. You throw in The Rock, man, if they're ending it, what a way to end the Bloodline story. But I have a feeling, I don't know. We'll get into that. I will put a predictions video up of WrestleMania. We move on to Rampage from March 8th, 2024. FTR, Orange Cassidy, and Trent Beretta were in a match. They defeated somebody. Sorry I didn't write that down. I have no clue why, and I'm not going back now. Julia Hart defeats Robin Renegade. Penna defeats Action Andretti. Top Flight and Brian Keith defeat Commander and Private Party. Now let's talk about TNA Under Siege from March 8th, 2024. This is a pay-per-view and will be rated as such. Nick Nemeth defeated Steve Macklin. Nick hits a heart attack, elbow drops, then hits a top rope elbow. Nemeth avoids Macklin's crosshairs and spills into the timekeeper's table. Macklin hits a Boo Psycho knee for a 2 and a KIA, but Nemeth rolls out of the ring. Macklin hits a pile driver for 2. Macklin steals the danger zone for a 2, and Nemeth steals a KIA for 2. They steal each other's moves. Nemeth counters a KIA, delivers 2 super kicks and a danger zone to pick up the win. This match gets a 9 from me. Eddie Edwards and Brian Myers defeat ABC. Myers spears Ace on the apron early on. Ace takes out Myers and Edwards on the outside with a Fosbury flop. Cartwheels on the apron and gets speared. Bay hits an Art of Finesse for a 2 in the midair. Ace gets hit with a System Overdrive for 2, but gets hit by a Boston Knee Party, and Eddie Edwards picks up the win. The System are the tag team champions. This match gets an 8 from me. We've seen PCO defeat Khan. Trash cans destroyed very early on. PCO hits a suicide missile dive. The two bring cookie sheets in, have a cookie sheet battle. Then Khan destroys PCO on the ramp, just sickening multiple choke slams off of this like wooden ramp entrance stage. But he then gets choke slammed off the stage through tables. And PCO spears Khan on top of a Sanford and Son amount of rubble in the ring for a win. This is a 7 for me. Jody Threat and Danny Luna defeat MK Ultra. Ultra attack Spitfire. Yeah, Jody Threat, Danny Luna, the team of Spitfire. They get attacked by MK Ultra before the match with a chain. Slamavish hair tosses Threat around the ring. Slamavish hits a spinning back fist and a power bomb. Whoop, 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 whoop. A power bomb. And then Threat pins Kelly off of a distraction. This match gets a 7 from me. Hammerstone defeats Josh Alexander. Hammerstone escapes an ankle lock attempt early on. Hammerstone spends most of the match overpowering Alexander. Alexander hits 10 German suplexes in a row, and then a diving crossbody to Hammerstone on the apron. Hammerstone knocks the mouth guard out of Alexander's mouth. Hammerstone gets a top rope drop kick, avoiding an ankle lock, but takes out the ref. Hammerstone taps to the ankle lock. There's no referee, but he picks up the win with a low blow and a nightmare pendulum after the ref gains consciousness. This match gets a 9 out of me. We move on to Time Machine versus... We've seen Mustafa Ali and the Grizzled Young Veterans defeat Time Machine. Kushida takes everyone out. Grizzled Young Veterans hit a Doomsday Device for a 2. Grizzled Young Veterans hit a Grit Your Teeth. Ali hits a 450 splash on Shelly. They pick up the win. This match was a 7 from me. We've seen Jordan Grace defeat Tasha Steeles and Zaya Brookside. Grace delivers a muscle buster onto Steeles onto the turnbuckle in a clothesline. Brookside hits a top rope crossbody on the Grace on the outside. Brooks hits a Brooksy bomb and a tornado DDT. Grace drivers Zaya for the win. This match gets an 8 out of me. We move on to the main event, which was Moose defeating Eric Young. Moose focuses on Young's midsection. Moose gets hit with a high-angle German suplex. Young hits a pile driver on the apron, but Eric couldn't hit with the distraction from the system. He gets speared, and Moose retains. This is an 8 from me. Now let's talk about Collision from March 9th, 2024. We've seen Bryan Danielson defeat Shane Taylor, awesome match. The Elite defeat John Cruz, Liam Gray, and Adrian Alanis. Mariah May defeats Trish Adora. Nick Wayne defeats Adam Priest. No. Something like that. Chris Jericho defeats Titan Mystico, defeats Angelico. The House of Black defeat Mark Briscoe and Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett. Now let's talk about pick 6. My pick 6 goes like this. Woman of the Week, Jordan Grace. Man of the Week has got to be Mustafa Ali. Team of the Week, Grizzled Young Veterans. Singles match, Nemeth versus Macklin. Tag team multi-man match, Time Machine Grizzled Young Vets versus Mustafa Ali. Show of the Week, Under Siege. Let's go ahead and talk about the third week, which includes AEW Big Business. Let's go ahead. March 11th, Raw. Becky Lynch defeats Liv Morgan. Indy Hartwell defeats Maxine Dupree and Ivy Nile. Becky Lynch defeats Liv Morgan. Indy Hartwell defeats Maxine Dupree and Ivy Nile. Indy Hartwell and Candice LeRae defeat Maxine Dupree and Ivy Nile. The Kabuki Warriors defeat Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark. Damian Priest and R-Truth defeats R-Truth. Ricochet defeats JD McDonough. Bronson Reed defeats Ricochet. Sami Zayn defeats Bronson Reed. Sami Zayn defeats Shinsuke Nakamura. Sami Zayn defeats Chad Gable. This caused a lot of uproar, and now we're in a situation where we might be seeing Chad Gable kind of mentor Sami Zayn going into the match against Gunther at WrestleMania, a la Rocky style. We move on to NXT from March 12th, 2024. LWO defeats Out the Mud. Lexis King defeats Robert Stone. Obafemi defeats Brooks Jensen. Gigi Dolan defeats Ariana Grace. Izzy Dame and Kiana James defeats Fallon Henley and Thea Hale. Sean Spears defeats Ridge Holland. Excellent match. And then we move on. Some of these matches, some of these cards, I do have TNA Explosion on. Sometimes I do forget all about it, but TNA Explosion, March 12th. Grizzled Young Veterans defeats Braxton Hunter and Richard Adonis. We had an old match of AJ Styles versus Rob Van Dam. We had an Around the Ring with GM Miller and Giselle Shaw. Very awesome, very cool episode. And then we seen Trent Seven defeat Trey Miguel. Move on to Dynamite from the 3rd. March 13th, 2024. Big Business, I do believe this was, yeah. Samoa Joe defeats Wardlow. The Elite defeat Eddie Kingston, Pac, and Penta. Jay White versus Darby Allin. Jay White defeats Darby Allin. The Gates of Agony defeat Jarrah Hook. And Willow defeats Riho. And we've seen a big stare off with Mercedes Moné and Willow, extending the rivalry from when Mercedes Moné and Willow were wrestling for, I forget what title they were wrestling for, but it was a New Japan title, and then that's how Mercedes broke her ankle, and I really feel like Sasha, it's going to translate back. It's going to translate back to what we're seeing here with the title, and then Mercedes getting the title, but maybe even see Willow do a heel turn. I don't know. That's the thing with wrestling. It's at a place where you really don't know. A lot of things, a lot of doors opening, all different places. It's crazy right now. But let's talk about Ring of Honor from the 14th of March. Billy Starks defeats Diamante. Lee Johnson defeats Aaron Solo. Kieran Hogan defeats Robin Renegade. Lady Frost, Layla Hirsch. Athena defeats Aisha. Top Flight defeat the Iron Savages. The Workhorsemen defeat Jacoby Watts and Nick Camarado. Lance Archer defeats Darian Benningston, and Mercedes Martinez defeats Abaddon. Commander defeats Slim J, Jack Cartwheel, AR Fox, and Trent Beretta. And we move on to TNA from the 14th of March. Mustafa Ali defeats Chris Sabin. Josh Alexander defeats Oleg Prudius. Kaz defeats Ace Austin. AJ Francis defeats Joe Hendry. Namath and Speedball Mountain defeat the Rascals and Macklin. And we move on to Rampage from the 15th. We've seen Chaos defeat the Dark Order. We've seen Mariah May and Toni Storm defeat Kayla Sparks and LMK, Little Mean Kathleen. We've seen Takeshita defeat Commander. And we've seen the Undisputed Kingdom versus Top Flight. Defeat to Top Flight. And Action Andretti. Top Flight and Action Andretti. The Undisputed Kingdom defeated Top Flight and Action Andretti. Excuse me. We move on to SmackDown from March 14th, 2024. Legado del Fantasma defeats LWO. We've seen Orton defeat Waller. We've seen Santos Escobar defeat Dragon Lee. The New Catch Republic defeat Pretty Deadly. Bailey defeats Dakota Kai. We've seen Collision. There was no Rampage. This was a follow-up. No, was that? No. Yeah, Rampage Collision. The next week was the one with no Rampage. Bryan Danielson defeats Katsuyori Shibata. Daniel Garcia defeats Lee Moriarty. Claudio Castagnoli defeats Lance Archer. Kyle O'Reilly defeats Brian Keith. The Infantry defeat the House of Black. We move on to the Pick 6 of the week. My singles of this week was Shibata and Danielson. My tag multi was the Dark Order match versus Chaos, Chaos versus the Dark Order. Excuse me. The show of the week was Collision. The man of the week was Lance Archer. Woman of the week was Mercedes Moné. Team of the week was the Undisputed Era. Alright folks, before I get into the last week here, I did want to cover Pro Wrestling Revolver, Ready or Not. This happened on the Sunday of the week I just covered. So let's get right into it. We start off with Rich Swann versus Ace Austin. Nice head kick. Oh man, they were going back and forth. It was a double stomp from Ace. Swann scissor kicked Ace and then dropped him. But Ace wins with the fold. Ace Austin picked up the win on Rich Swann there. And shout out to Mean GM Miller, who had a birthday. This match was a 7 from me. The next match we seen Jake Something versus Madman Fulton. Oh man, we seen a deadlift gut wrench into a buckle. Something both. And then they both fall for the double clothesline. We've seen a Fujiwara springboard crossbody. Fulton catches Something. Hit him on the apron with a choke slam. Fulton give him another nice kick. Roundhouse. Then a power bomb. And clubbing forearms. Man, he held on to Something, but Something did pick up the win there. This was just massive. You're smashing into each other, forearms, and catching each other and smashing each other. This is a really good one. This was a 7 for me. The next one up, we've seen an intergender match. It was really cool. Speedball Mike Bailey versus Marina Shafir. Very MMA based, very heavy strike stuff, and very grapple based too. We've seen a feint suicide dive from Mike. He was going to jump out of there, but Shafir did a twisting ankle neck snap on Speedball. Like she spun her ankles around on him, knocked him down. We seen Speedball with a triangle moonsault to the outside off the top rope. Shafir with a 2 count. We seen him hit a flamingo driver with a top rope clothesline with a big action movie back and forth. And then we seen a big back and forth kick exchange. And then but Speedball types to a front face lock mother's milk submission. Awesome match. This match gets a 9 out of me. It's really cool. The next up, we seen Lince Dorado and Samurai del Sol defeating grizzled young veterans. Sol shows off flashy lucha early on. These guys were out there in their best. Lince, not to be outdone, he was also with his flashy lucha. We seen a battered sausage, a double lucha action. GYV assisted choke pile driver. Del Sol out on the outside, but Lince wins with a Hurricane Rana due to distraction. GYV grabbing his mask, so he won with a surprise roll-up thing, and they're the new tag team champions. That's pretty sweet. Next up, we've seen Paul Walter Hauser defeat Matt Cardona. This was a nice classic match, good for what it was. Back and forth, remind you of something that would happen in the 80s. I'm sure this is something that Mr. Cardona cooked up. This was a really fun match. I'm not going to sit there and critique every little thing in this match, but this was fun. We had seen Bully getting involved at the end with a flaming table to help Hauser catch this win, and we're going to see Paul Walter Hauser versus Callahan in Philly at the Pro Wrestling Revolver show. I'll be covering that, I hope to. Anyways, next up we seen Gringo Loco taking on Alpha Sigma Sigma, Kevin Knight, Jake Christ, Myron Reed, Warhorse, and Damian Chambers. This was sweet. Loco had a moonsault in the top rope, Con Hilo. They had an all-man tower suplex of doom. Kevin Knight had a drop kick over Myron Reed. Myron with a double flame cutter. Damon with an elbow high off the top rope. Big cutter for a 2 count. We've seen Loco with a base bomb. Chambers for the win. Next up, we've seen Alex Shelley defeat JT Dunn. Something tried to attack Shelley. He fought him off. JT hit the low blow. The unit disbands in this match. We had Phil Stamper, not Tamper, him throwing the belt over, and Shelley clocks JT with it for the win. We've seen a really cool main event, which was an elimination games. This was Team Red, which was Steve Macklin, Killer Kelly, Ricky Shane Page, and Alex Colon, versus Team Blue, which was the one called Manders, Masha Slamovich, Matthew Justice, Manser, and we've seen Steve Macklin. Oh, excuse me. This was really sweet. This was a really good one. We've seen Killer Kelly enter with a staple gun, Macklin with a sick kendo shot, Masha Slamovich with a tube bundle, Masha with a Sister Abigail on Killer Kelly, Ricky Shane Page with a barbed wire dog run. He entered with, everyone entered with a specific item, a specific weapon. Mance Warner entered with the skewers, choke slams Macklin on the dog run. Alex Colon comes out with a glass bucket and a scaffolding. Cologne with a screwdriver. Manser and Masha Slamovich. Kelly on the Manser slams Masha Slamovich. Masha slams Killer Kelly, oh my god, on a tube bundle and eliminated her. Matthew Justice with a chair. Masha and Cologne fist fight. Masha snowplowed and a white knight delivered on a glass to Cologne for a 2 count. Man, really cool. RSP and Cologne double team eliminate Masha Slamovich. Then we seen Justice eliminate RSP with a DVD off the scaffolding. And Macklin eliminated Justice. Macklin low blow eliminated Manser. And Manders and Macklin hit Manders hit Macklin with the Oklahoma Stampede through the door. Warner turns on Manders And we seen a scaffolding, oh my god, off the top of the scaffolding through glass and barbed wire, all kinds of stuff. This match here was a really good one. Definitely got an 8.5 out of me. I'd say all in all, pro wrestling revolver, 8.5. It was a really good show. That was that, and let's move on to the last week of wrestling intake for you guys. Now, I did pick out my favorite matches of this one already, but as of the next episode, I will be picking from each show my favorite match and my favorite promo, and that will be not with the pick 6. That will still be at the end of the week, but as I read, as that show goes on, best match, best promo. But Raw from March 18th, we seen DIY defeat the Creed brothers. We seen Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell defeat Caden Carter and Katana Chance. Ricochet defeated Dirty Dom. Awesome Truth defeated Indu Shear. The New Day defeated the Alpha Academy. Becky Lynch defeated Nia Jax in a last woman standing match. My favorite match on that was definitely DIY versus the Creed brothers. Next up, we have NXT from March 19th, 2024. Roxanne Perez defeated Tatum Paxley. Nathan Frazier defeated Axiom. Hold on a second here. Nathan Frazier defeated Axiom. Yep. New Quarter Catch crew. Okay, yeah. I fucked something up there. But this whole episode has been kind of messed up. I apologize. I'm gonna get better with the notes, like I had said. So I kind of messed this one up. But, I digress. And the dog is just driving me nuts, so. Just gotta get back to where I was at here. Sol Ruka defeats Brynlee Reese. Drew Gulak defeats Riley Osborne. The Good Brothers defeat Hank and Tank. And Trick Williams defeats Noam Dar. My favorite one on that was definitely Drew Gulak versus Riley Osborne. We see Dynamite from March 20th, 2024. Okada defeats Eddie Kingston for the Continental Crown Championship. Hook defeats Chris Jericho. Thunder Rosa and Deonna Purrazzo defeat Mariah May and Toni Storm. Swerve defeats The Butcher. Adam Copeland defeated Christian Cage for the TNT title. My favorite one out of that one was Okada versus Eddie Kingston. We move on to TNA from the 21st. Jake Something defeated Jason Hotch, Leon Slater, Chris Bay, Alan Angels, and Kevin Knight. The Time Splitters defeat the Grizzled Young Veterans. Crazy Steve defeated PCO for the Digital Media Championship. Ash by Elegance defeated Silesia Sparks. Jordan Grace defeated Tasha Steeles. That was my favorite match of that show. We move on to ROH from the same night, the 21st. Billy Starks defeated Mercedes Martinez. Queen Aminata defeated Red Velvet. Lee Johnson defeated London Lightning. Hikaru Shida defeated Rachel Ellering. Matt Sydal defeated TJ Crawford. And my favorite one was Hikaru Shida defeating Rachel Ellering. SmackDown from the 22nd of March. Santos Escobar defeats Rey Mysterio. Grayson Waller and Austin Theory defeat the Good Brothers. Io Sky defeats Naomi. The Street Profits defeat AOP. My favorite one on that was Santos Escobar versus Rey Mysterio. Move on to Rampage from that same night, the 22nd. Best Friends defeat Kyle Fletcher and Will Hobbs. Katsuyori Shibata defeats Quinn Matthews. Takeshita defeats Rocky Romero. Sky Blue and Julia Hart defeat Willow Nightingale and Chris Statlander. And my favorite one on that was Katsuyori Shibata defeating Quinn Matthews. Now there was no collision on this one, and then Rampage this week starts early. So that's something to look forward to there. We're at the end of my coverage. My pick 6 for the 4th week would be Man of the Week, Adam Copeland. Team of the Week, seeing all the rumors that have been going around and the writings on the wall with the team Motor City Machine Guns their time may be up in TNA. The Team of the Week, Motor City Machine Guns. Woman of the Week, Jordan Grace. Singles Match of the Week, Okada versus Kingston. Tag match, multi-man match of the week, Creeds versus DIY, and the show of the week was Dynamite this week. And that brings us to the end of the episode. Only thing I wanted to say now that the wrestling news is out of the way, this is some H3 Podcast 8 related news. Wanted to wish Cameron Grants on all his future stuff that he's going to be doing. He had got a new job on the East Coast. He's going to be moving back out there. He's not going to be on the H3 Podcast anymore. He's presented us with many goofs and gaffes and memes and viral videos and all kinds of clips and stuff like that. He's been an essential member of the team for several years, many years. Started out, friend with Cam friends with Love, and blossomed into him becoming a full-time member. And I really thought he was just hitting his stride, opening up more and being more active in the show. But I do wish him well, and we're going to be sad to not see him on the show. Hopefully he keeps in touch with all the family when he's done with his social media sabbatical type thing, and he's on his well on his way with his job and things like that, of that nature. But I just wanted to wish him well, and thanks. And we reached the end of the episode here. I'm going to give you guys another episode here very early on in the week here, and probably a WrestleMania prediction video at the end of the week as well. So watch out for that on my YouTube channel, or maybe on here. We'll see what goes on here, how I upload the WrestleMania predictions. But until next time, hit subscribe on wherever platform you're on. Make sure you're subscribed to catch up with the latest episodes. Whenever I drop them, you'll be notified. And thank you for listening. Thank you always for your patronage and support. I'll catch you next time.